Welcome back, everyone, to another OKestWeekly recap where we cover all things handheld PC gaming. All news or no news, we'll cover every brand. And don't forget, if you enjoy this video, do the OKS thing and boop that like button. And if you're enjoying the channel, subscribe below. Alright, let's jump into it. Let's kick things off this week with our quick news. I have two things to cover. One is an update for the PlayStation Portal, and the second is the campaign update for the TJD T101. We'll start off first with the PlayStation Portal. So you can get it on PlayStation's online store now for $199 USD, and this is a pre-order, which is scheduled for release on November 15th. So if you're planning to get one, you may as well head over there now and get a pre-order in so you can get it on launch day. One thing that we did learn though is that you can only have one PlayStation Portal connected to a PlayStation 5 at a time. So check out the link down below if you're interested in this one. Next up is an update for the TJD T101, and no, that's not me playing, this is from their YouTube channel, but we did have their campaign go live, so you can find that on Indiegogo, where you can see that they've just gotten started and there's a few different configurations. There's the 7640U, that's for $599 and up, and then it goes all the way up to the 7840U, which has a starting price of $949. So there's a number of configurations that you can check out if this is one that you're looking at. You can see now that they've changed their colors as well. All of the colors seem a little less extreme than they used to be, although the prototype still has the old design. So you can see in this video here from their YouTube channel how big the device's screen really is, and it really does pop out how big it is. But it's going to be interesting to see how it looks compared to other devices, so when we get our reviews from ETA Prime, Retro Game Corp, and Hen's Tech Talk, we should hopefully be able to get a better sense of scale compared to other devices. Well, you know the drill by now. I'll drop the link in the description. Check it out if you're interested. And that'll wrap it up for the quick news. So let's go over some new updates for the Lenovo Legion Go. We have a ton of information to go over today for the Legion Go. We now have the official announcement from Lenovo confirming the features and specs, the release date, and the price. Alongside this, we also had a number of videos go live giving us more information for the device. So with all of this information, I'm going to try to summarize it for you with the highlights. And because today's video has a number of things to cover, I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. So the biggest question is the price. So we have an update for that. There was a listing on Best Buy's USA store where we find two configurations. The first one for $699, and these prices are a little surprising to see that they were able to match the ROG Ally and also add a second configuration with 1 TB of storage for just a small amount more. When I first heard about this device, I was expecting the price to be at least $799 for the base model, and I was thinking that was going to have a 512GB SSD, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was actually cheaper than I thought. And now that you know the price, when can you actually buy this? Well, it sounds like it's going to be available sometime in November of this year. So just in time for you to hint to your spouse that this could be a good potential gift for Christmas. And the next thing that we can cover is the full spec sheet. As mentioned before, the APU is going to be the Z1 Extreme. For storage, you can get 512 or 1 TB SSD, and it comes in the 2242 size. For the size and weight, without the controllers, it's 210 by 131 by 20 millimeters, and it's 640 grams. And with the controllers, it comes in at 299 by 131 by 41 millimeters and 854 grams. At launch, there's only going to be one color configuration, and that's Shadow Black. I'm not sure if they have any more planned in the future. For the display, we have an 8.8-inch 1600p IPS display with a 16 by 10 aspect ratio and 144 Hz refresh rate. No mention of VRR. For the console, you get a 49 watt-hour battery, and for the controllers, it's 900 milliamp hours. Included with the device will be a USB-C Type-C 65-watt AC adapter. For I/O at the top, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, one USB Type-C port with USB 4, DisplayPort 1.4, and Power Delivery 3. And lastly, there's a micro SD card reader at the top as well. And moving over to the bottom, we have the exact same configuration for another USB Type-C port. Some highlights for the controllers, because they are kind of unique, is they are Hall effect joysticks. The triggers are analog. There's a trackpad on the right. There's 6 buttons on the grip that are assignable. There's a mouse wheel and a mouse sensor on the right controller. It features 6-axis gyro. The controllers also have batteries built in. And one other thing to note, at least in the prototype, they do not support 2-player with 2 controls. So you can't use it like the Switch where one takes one side and the other one takes the other. They seem to be tied together. For connectivity, we have Wi-Fi Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2. And for software, it's going to come with Windows 11. It'll have a program called Legion Space, and it also comes with 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate. And that's the specs of the device, so let's go over some interesting things that we learned from some of the videos. From the official announcement from Lenovo, as well as the video from Dave2D, we were able to learn a few things about the right controller. So it seems that with that mouse sensor at the bottom, it's actually meant to act as a vertical mouse. Now, I've never used a vertical mouse, so I can't imagine if it would be easy to use or not, but it is a pretty cool concept. So basically, you pull off the right controller, you attach a base to it. Right now it just clicks in, but in the future, apparently they're planning to make it magnetic, which should be in the production models. So that way when you slot it in, it's not really going to come loose. It's going to be secure and less chance of it falling out if you're gaming and moving around a little bit too quickly. So the concept looks pretty cool. I'm not sure how it'll actually play out in the end. We'll have to wait till the device comes out and the community can get their hands on it and test it out. One bit of community controversy around this device was a video announcement that was leaked that showed that the screen had VRR and later was removed in the official presentation. But honestly, it's hard to fault Lenovo here because that was a leaked video. It wasn't one that they had put out, so they've never actually officially said that it had VRR. We kind of assumed that from that video. So maybe at one point they did have it planned and then decided to change screens that they're using. I'm not really sure, but that's just where we're at right now, is the screen does not have VRR. And one last little bonus thing here is there's actually our first look inside the device. So Dave2D did remove the back cover so you can see inside. So you can see it looks kind of cool having a black board. And you can see that it's operating with a single fan, but I think we already knew that. And it seems like they packed everything in pretty tight, so it seems pretty compact. So that's all I've got for the Lenovo Go summary. There is more that I could cover, but for the sake of time, we're just going to limit it to this today. So what's your thoughts on this device? Is it something that you're going to be purchasing, or is this something that you're going to skip out on? And let me know what you think about this vertical mouse idea. Is it a cool one, or is it just a gimmick? Let me know in the comments and we'll carry on the conversation there. And that's going to wrap it up for our quick news and Lenovo updates, so let's move on over to the ROG Ally. This week for the ROG Ally, I have a few things to cover. The first one is some new AMD drivers that fix the crashing issue in Starfield. Secondly, we had somebody successfully do the 32GB RAM upgrade. And lastly, I have a cool 3D printed grip that I want to show you guys. First, we'll get started with the AMD drivers. So the drivers are available on ASUS's website, but they're not currently being pushed through the My ASUS app. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, you can grab it from ASUS's website and they do work. I have tested them. And these new drivers are 23.8.2, which replaces the driver that we've had for many months now that's a little bit outdated. So just to clarify, this is not to be confused with the other tests that I did where I compared it versus the 7840 drivers. This is a separate set of drivers that are specifically made for the Ally. So prior to installing these using the drivers that are currently available with my ASUS, I did find that Starfield was crashing on boot, it was crashing at certain cutscenes, and performance was pretty interesting. It would be sometimes in the 40s, and then other times it would drop all the way down to like 12, 13, and that's usually when the game would crash. I was trying out the old drivers so I could just see if it was a performance boost, but in fact you do really need these new drivers to actually be able to play the game. I did make a video comparing the old drivers to these current ones that you can get from ASUS's website. In my testing, I found that Forza Horizon dropped a little bit in performance, and I did find that God of War, Cyberpunk, they were pretty much the same, and we also saw a little drop in the Time Spy score. There was another video from Windeck Tech that did testing as well, and he actually very interestingly got the exact opposite results for Forza Horizon. So I followed up with him to see what was different, and it seems that him and I have slight different optimizations. Like he has his mostly stock, but he's using G Helper instead of Armory Crate, and I believe he has core isolation turned off, and I left it on just because that's what comes stock with the Ally, and that was kind of what I was targeting in my test. But overall in his tests, he was finding that it was overall performing a bit better, so maybe it depends on some of the tweaks that you make as well. If you haven't turned off core isolation and VPM, you could give it a try. I did find about a 4-frame advantage when I tested Cyberpunk with it on versus being off. But anyway, if you want some more context, give my video a watch. It's a pretty short one. It's like 4 minutes long, and then you could check some more games that are being tested in Windeck's video as well. Moving on to the 32GB RAM upgrade. So we have one user in the Discord server named Beardy, and I've been chatting with him for a while. I actually know him from servers from quite a while ago in OneXPlayer and some other servers. And he's been working on getting the 32GB RAM upgrade for a little while now. He's tried it and failed a couple times, but now finally the missing pieces came together and he's got it working. So far it's a little bit too early to see if there's any performance bump. He hasn't really had a chance to do too much testing, at least when I checked in with him, but definitely chat with him in our OKestGamer Discord or in the ROG Ally server. You should be able to find him in either one of the servers if you ping him. And the last thing that I have to show you guys are these cool accessories that I had sent to me for your ROG Ally. So it's these clip-on grips that are 3D printed. I got these from rob.3d. He has an Etsy store and was kind enough to send these to me so I could show it to you guys. Previously I had shown you some smooth ones that he made, but now they've added the texture, so they're exactly the same but with a textured feel now. I can honestly say that these are probably one of the best designed grips I've seen for the Ally. The nice part is that they pry open, so you don't have to scratch your device when you're putting it on, so it pries open and you just slide it in, and once you have it in there, all you have to do is click it together. And if I flip it over, I'll show you what it looks like compared to the stock grip. So I really like it because it is a lot bigger, and I like having something to grab onto with my fingers while I'm holding my device. And it really doesn't get in the way of pushing the button. It's very natural to hold it. And here it is with both grips on. The nice thing too is you can also stand it up. I didn't demo it on this video, but when you stand it up, it will stand up straight. So if you're interested in this accessory, I'll drop the link in the description and you can check out his Etsy store. And that's all I've got for the ROG Ally. So let's head on over to the Steam Deck updates. For Steam Deck this week, I only have a couple updates to cover. The first one is for the Deck HD screen that we've talked about previously. So it has now launched. Previously, they had a pre-sale that was about a week early, but that was for those that signed up for the email notifications, and there was only limited quantity. But now it's available for everyone. It's been available on the 29th, and you can get it for $100 US. They also have a Discord server, so if you have any more questions about it, you can head over there and check in with others that have been doing the mod and see if you can get some input. Aside from that, the only updates I have is for SteamOS. So we had two updates that came out on August 31st. It seems that there was one right after the other, and both of these OS client updates were basically to fix Starfield from crashing. Although I've heard that the game doesn't run very well on the Deck, at least now it can run without crashing. And that's all I have for Steam Deck this week, so let's move on over to AOKZOE. For AOKZOE, I only have one update, and that's for the driver situation around the 7840U. So right now, Starfield is crashing on the A1 Pro, and that's due to driver incompatibility. Right now, some of the community members have been experimenting with another set of drivers, an unofficial set that they got, I believe, from the AYANEO server. And they seem to be working, but some have had some minor issues. So we're still following this to see if they're going to work long term or if it's going to impact other games, but it is something that's being worked on. When asked, the AOKZOE rep did mention that they are working on a new set of drivers and that they've been working with AMD on this, so we should hopefully be expecting those soon. I'm guessing they're going to be putting some pressure on as the Starfield release is a pretty big one, so they probably want to get that out soon. And aside from that, I don't have any other updates, so let's move on to OneXPlayer. For OneXPlayer this week, I have a few small things to cover. So recently, you've probably seen me report various times about OneXPlayer showing up to different events. Recently, they were at Gamescom in Germany, where people were able to try out the OneXfly, try out the OneXPlayer 2 Pro, and in general, just get to know a little bit more about OneXPlayer. When I look at my channel's analytics, I see that many people are in the USA, so I just wanted to let you guys know that we recently heard that they're apparently going to be coming to Los Angeles. Now, it isn't exactly confirmed, and I'm not sure all the specific details, but they are checking interest in the Discord server to see who would want to come to an event like that, if they'd be interested. So if you're in the area and possibly interested in checking out one of these events, check out their Discord server and just look for one of the staff members, or pretty much ask anyone. They should be able to direct you, and just let them know that you're interested, just so they have a gauge of who might be coming and who won't be. And I'm guessing they'll probably determine whether they're hosting it based on the interest. Aside from that, I figured I'd give you guys a sneak peek at the OneXfly. As some of you may know, I'm beta testing it. And in case you haven't noticed, that's the device that I'm playing in the background here. And for those that have been following this in the Discord server, this isn't me actually playing Starfield natively on the system. I'm using my Xbox Series X and I'm just streaming it right now. Unfortunately, Starfield is crashing on my drivers. At least that's the case for my OneXfly. I do need to get a driver's update so that it won't crash on me. But getting back to the topic at hand, I did want to show you guys one of the tests that are going to appear in my review. I've been a little bit delayed with some of my videos because I'm a little bit behind schedule with some other projects, but I promise I am working on it. So I'll show you the screen and sound test. Just note that this was shot in a shorts format because I'm going to be posting it as a short as well, so don't mind the aspect ratio. And there you have it, just a short preview of what's coming in the review. And I'm hoping to get the full review done soon, so stay tuned for that. And that's all I've got for OneXPlayer, so let's move on to AYN. For AYN, I only have one update for you guys, and that's for an over-the-air update that went out for the Odin Lite. So it went out on September 2nd, and unfortunately was suspended shortly after due to a glitch that seemed to happen when people did the update. So if you have an Odin Lite, maybe hang back on this one. And that's all I've got for AYN this week, so let's move on to AYANEO. It was a big week for AYANEO with two product release events for the AYANEO Pocket Air and the AYANEO Kun. Let's start things off with the Pocket Air. We now know the price of the Pocket Air, something that people have been speculating for a little while now, and it seems that the price will be ranging from $279 for the base model and up to $399 for the top model. There's a variety of configurations available with different price points and storage and memory options. The campaign goes live on September 5th and the devices are planned to be shipped by the end of September. The Indiegogo preview page is now up, so check out the link below if you're interested in signing up for email notifications. And now on to the Kun. We had another product showcase where we finally found out the price of the AYANEO Kun, and it seems that the base model that has 16GB of RAM and 512 storage is going to start at $999, and there are configurations all the way up to $1699, and that one has 64GB of RAM and a 4TB SSD. We also found out it has a SIM card slot with 4G LTE, so this will be an option for those that want data on the go. The campaign for this one goes live on September 5th, and there's also a preview page up now, so check out the link below if you are interested in following this one. So let me know what you think of these devices. Is this something that you're considering? Are you looking at the Pocket Air? Are you considering the AYANEO Kun? Let's talk about it in the comments. And that's all I've got for AYANEO, so let's move on to GPD. For GPD, I only have one update for you guys, and that's that the Win Mini campaign is going to be going live on September 5th. And the Indiegogo page has already been set up as a preview, so if you're interested in this device, I'll drop that link down below and you can take a look at it. And for those that like to be at the front of the line and get their orders in first, it's going to be going live September 5th at 10 AM UTC +8. We've mentioned the device and the price a few times now, so if you're interested in learning more, I'll leave that up to you to grab the link in the video description and go check it out yourself. And that's pretty much all I got for GPD, and that's also going to wrap up this week's OKest recap. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.